Germany's newly elected Chancellor Friedrich Merz made his first official visit abroad to France on Wednesday, hoping to relaunch the Franco-German relationship. Both him and French President Emmanuel Macron announced during a press conference some key security initiatives, including a Franco-German Defense and Security Council, vowing to act hand in hand when it comes to mounting security challenges across Europe. And when it comes to the war in Ukraine, although both were cautious of announcing anything concrete like the deployment of peacekeeping troops, both leaders did say that they were ready to provide security guarantees to Kyiv the moment that a lasting peace treaty and ceasefire have been concluded. The German chancellor stressed multiple times the importance of the United States' role with trying to end Russia's full-scale invasion. But beyond defense, the German chancellor is also looking to reset ties with Paris and also with other countries abroad after a bumpy start at home when on Tuesday he failed to be elected in the first round of voting within the German parliament. But his more flexible stance on fiscal rules and defense spending have been warmly welcomed here at the Elysee Palace. Still, key differences remain, like, for example, when it comes to the free trade Mercosur agreement. The French president warned that any treaty must protect European producers, whilst Merz during the press conference said that this treaty should be ratified as quickly as possible. And although both leaders did show quite a united stance this Wednesday, it's true that Europe's future will depend on how this new Franco-German duo will navigate what comes next.
Two Belgian teenagers found with 5,000 ants in Kenya have been given a choice of paying a fine of around €6,700 or serve 12 months in prison. 19-year-old Lornoy David and Seppe Lodewijks were charged with violating wildlife conservation laws. Their lawyer described the sentencing as fair and said her clients would not appeal.
Being young, it's a story they'll keep telling even their other generations, and when they come to Kenya, when other kids come to Kenya, they'll have reference to this. So it's good jurisprudence, it's good precedent. Yeah.
Authorities said the ants were destined for European and Asian markets in an emerging trend of trafficking lesser-known wildlife species. The ants are bought by people who keep them as pets and observe them in their colonies. Several websites in Europe have listed different species of ants for sale at varied prices.
They may be small and seemingly harmless, but emojis can carry more weight than you might guess, sometimes acting like digital social hand grenades. While some might see an emoji as friendly or funny, another might find it confusing or even offensive. To explore this further, passers-by in Reykjavik were asked to interpret a selection of emojis. Some found certain emojis joyful, while others thought it expressed sadness.
Hvaða merkingu leggur í þetta tákn? Að vera leiður eða þreyttur eða eitthvað svoleiðis?
Ég myndi svona skjóta á að þetta væri sem sagt fallin frá.
Deyja. Þetta þennan nota ég mjög mikið. Þetta var oft, þetta er þetta er eins og hlátukallinn nema bara hann er dauður. Það gefur svona svolítið skinn á að hafa dáið úr hlátri.
Þessi er svolítið leiður. Fyndið. En þessi?
Þetta er eitthvað sem er ömurlegt eða dauði.
Even the classic smiley face isn't always a safe territory. The degree of a smile and the shape of the emoji's mouth can send subtly different signals. The exercise showed that in the world of digital communication, meaning isn't fixed, and that even the simplest symbols can speak volumes.
The US president posted on his social media page on 5th of May that he would impose a 100% tariff on films made outside the US. The American film industry is dying at a rapid pace. Other countries are offering all kinds of incentives to lure filmmakers and studios away from the US. That's why I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce to immediately begin the process of imposing a 100% tariff on all foreign-produced films coming into our country, Donald Trump said in his post. The details are not known at all, but if it does happen, a lot of countries will be very badly off, including Hungary, where last year film spending was close to $1 billion.
Eljutottunk oda, hogy ma már egy globális filmgyártásról beszélünk. Jóformán nincs is olyan nagy játékfilm, ami nem globálisan készül. Hát gondoljunk bele egy Mission Impossible-be, hány helyszínen forog, vagy egy James Bond filmbe, az is legalább 4-5 országban játszódik. De akármelyik, nem tudom, milyen ismertebb Gyűrűk ura, Blade Runner, ezek mind rengeteg helyen forognak, mert egész egyszerűen így jön létre ez a kulturális terv. Azt gondoljuk, hogy ahogy issá változott a gyártás, a folyamata észszerűség a eredménye, és most ez a törekvés több film legyen az Egyesült Államokban, ez egy jogos törekvésük, biztos fognak rá megoldást találni, a mostani állapot pedig inkább egy felkiáltó jel, és értjük, van egy ilyen igény, abszolút megértjük. Mi is azt szeretnénk, hogy még több film forogjon Magyarországon.
Just how fluid the issue is can be seen by the fact that President Trump later promised to consult with representatives of the US film industry, and the White House said that no final decision on tariffs on films made abroad has been made yet. Responding to question from journalists, Trump stressed that film production and the offshoring of films has decimated the US film industry and that he wants to help, not hurt, the industry, which receives financial and other support abroad.
Jobs, that's all what it's very important.
The European Union has set 2027 as the target for ending its dependence on Russian energy. On Tuesday, the European Commission presented its roadmap for eliminating the last imports of gas, oil and uranium. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the EU has already significantly reduced its independence. Gas imports have fallen from 45% in 2021 to 19% last year. They should reach 13% by 2025. The share of Russian oil has fallen from 27% in 2022 to 3% today. For the Commission, it's necessary to go further in order to avoid any blackmail from Moscow.
Putin has shown many times that he's willing to weaponize energy, and that is obviously not a very nice situation to be in for the European Union's member states. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that we have been buying Russian gas and energy the last couple of years for billions of euros, and those money, they go directly to the war chest of Putin, and that is of course also something that we need to stop.
To achieve this, the Commission is proposing to ban new contracts with Russian gas suppliers by the end of the year. For the remaining imports, the longer-term contracts purchases will have to cease in 2027. The Energy Commissioner hopes that the proposal will be adopted by all member states. However, unanimity is not required in order to avoid any paralysis caused by a capital. Hungary and Slovakia have expressed their reservations in the past.
It's also very clear that the proposals that I put forward today do not need unanimity, so a qualified majority can adopt this. And this also means that if there are a few countries that do not support, then unfortunately we will have to go ahead anyway, because this is so important for the security of the Union. It's so important for the solidarity that we need to show with Ukraine, that even though I obviously hope for full support, a majority can also vote this through.
Unlike sanctions, these import bans do not have to be renewed at regular intervals, which again is a way of preventing a member state from blocking the Union.
People are mad at the game for a variety of reasons. The backlash started because people didn't expect one of the protagonists was going to be a Black African samurai. everybody probably just assume this is just a DEI thing. So people wanted to, look for who to yell at. Online communities, they started talking a lot about me, my book, my family. Once I realized that nobody was defending me, I just decided to do what I knew would work.
Saji contacted me on Reddit. I wasn't sure if it was her, so I went through to the Zoom call anyway. Obviously, no one knew at that time what Saji actually consulted on. This is the reason why the Zoom call was so important to me, because I was able to understand her and what she actually did to the game. I felt so bad. I apologized, I think, more than 10 times maybe. I learned a massive lesson because I just let the post roll. I didn't even think about the consequences of doing this. I just thought I shouldn't have made this person a target for no reason whatsoever.
Nobody is unaffected by this very polarizing culture. So I just hope that people will, try to treat each other as fellow humans, and it will work, I promise.